Welcome back, guys. I'm Doc Holliday. I want to talk about sports cards. This is a sports card channel, so that's what I'm going to do. Alright, guys, I'm going to try to stay on topic. I might veer a little bit, but I'm going to try to stay on the straight and narrow with this video as much as I can. And the topic of this video is a strategy you can implement to collect singles much more affordably, but win big.
And if I could do it, you definitely can do it.
You know, I'm going to veer a little bit for a minute. I'm going to keep it quick. But part of the reason that I started implementing this strategy that I'm going to share with you guys is because I'm kind of priced out of retail. You guys all know retail these days, $65 a mega box. You know, 3 or 4 mega boxes, and you're in it for the price of a lower end hobby box. The blasters, 35, almost 40 after tax, and they're so watered down. You know, you spend all this money, you buy a few of them, and 95% of the time, your biggest return is going to be a $10 card. If you pull a $20 card, you're lucky. If you get the value back of the box, that's a big W. But many times now, it just, with the products being so overprinted, it doesn't really happen too often. So that's when I decided I'm going to start going for singles a little bit more. And I've done this off and on over the years. But, you know, I kind of slowly started implementing this strategy, and I'm going to tell you guys how it works. It follows off-season, you know, into the draft, into the preseason, into football season. And it's a good way to get into players. And for the sake of this video, I've been collecting running backs, but I'm specifically going to talk about quarterbacks. Here's a good starting point. A few months out from the draft, I'll tell you what I do. A good indicator that I noticed, something that carries over to the NFL pretty well, is that you can look at with these guys is look at completion percentage of these quarterbacks. Now, the higher the better. Obviously, you got to look at play time too, because they have to have an adequate amount of play time for their high completion percentages, because you might get a guy that, you know, he has a really high completion percentage, but he was out there. He might have only thrown a few passes. And one good thing to look at, you know, is across the board, year to year, especially if they've always had a good completion percentage, but if it climbed each year, because that shows improvement. Then obviously, you know, you can watch. What I do is because I don't have time to watch college football, I just watch pro football. So, but you can always watch highlights on these guys. There's plenty of footage on most of these quarterbacks, so you can kind of get an idea too of how mobile they are, how they are in the pocket. If these are guys that are scoring touchdowns too, if these are guys that are trucking through people like running backs, like Allen. And it requires a little bit of time, but if you're interested in it, it's not a chore. It's just you watch these things for enjoyment. So at this point, you know, you can begin to speculate some guys that are going to be in the draft and stuff coming up. And for the sake of this video, we're talking about 2 months out from the draft. At this point, which this point is past now, we're about a week. We're about 2 weeks away from the draft. But, you know, you can start buying these guys. Bottom dollar, the cheapest you're going to get them. The only sacrifice you have to make is them not having a pro jersey because they're not on a team yet. They're not in the NFL. And obviously there's a little bit of risk with it because you are speculating, but you got to do it smart. But then, you know, you get up to the point where you're a few weeks out. You know which guys are going to be in the draft, and there's all these draft projections out there that can help you figure out where these guys are going to end up. So, you know, now this is where we're at the next point, where prices start to rise a little bit, but it's still pretty much bottom. It's down there. So here's kind of what you're going to get at this point. You're going to get these guys that are projected to be drafted later in the draft. Let's say they're supposed to go late. They're not looked at as the upper echelon guys, but still NFL worthy. Your Brady Cooks, your Curtis Rourkes, your Max Brosmers, your Will Howards, your Will Rogers. These are the guys at this point, pretty much the point where we're at now, where some of these guys, you can pick their card, and I'm talking about ink, because I like to collect ink. You can pick these guys' autographs up for, I mean, I got cards for $4, $5, $6, $7, $8. Now, all these guys that are projected to go mid to late, you can really, it requires a little bit of looking sometimes, but you can find these cards for $5, $6, inked up with the autograph. So it's a great time to buy, and still, even at this point, maybe not by the time you guys see the video, because I'm going to show you guys some of the purchases and stuff on the screen, but at this point, even, if you dig and you're looking for like Leaf trading cards and stuff, you can find even Cameron Ward, who's projected to go number 1. You can find his cards for $50 and $60. Sometimes it might take, trying to get a guy that wants $80 for the card down $15 or something, but you can get these cards for like $50, $60. And I'm not just blowing smoke here. I just picked up a Cameron Ward autograph Leaf card for $50. I picked up his Bowman first autograph, a numbered one, for somewhere around $80. So it's the perfect time, and I'm going to tell you why. Because right when these guys get drafted, your Cameron Ward Bowman first that I paid $80 for, that thing's probably, excitement's high at this time. This thing's probably $250 at that point, maybe more. The $50 cards probably $150, $200. All those $7, $8 cards, those are $40, $50 cards now at this point. And that's where on a chart you're going to see a peak. Now I'm going to tell you another point where you're going to see a rise in value on the chart. And this one might be a little unexpected, and I'm going to try to hurry along here. But now you can get in here, but you're going to get in at a little bit more money on some of the lower end guys. But it's preseason, believe it or not. Now I know a lot of people don't really even bother with the preseason, but when you're speculating on these guys, you might take interest. Some people just watch your team in the preseason, but at this point, if you got one of these guys and they're testing him on the field in the preseason and he plays well, you better believe his values are going to go up. Now, if he looks like crap and he plays horrible in the preseason, that's going to probably affect the value too and bring the card down a little bit. You'll see a dip. It's a smart time to watch, and sometimes it can determine what's going to happen at the start of the season. And that's where you're going to see another huge elevation in some of these players right at the start of the season, before the season starts, when you find out who the starters are. Values are going to go up. On every guy that's starting, values are going to go up. Because trading cards is behind, too, usually, half the year. So not till partway through the season even, you're not even going to start seeing these players in their pro jerseys yet, usually, with the trading cards. Now, let's say we're a few games into the season. This is where cards also can dip or they can go up. If the guy is not playing well, if he's playing terrible, his card values, if he's still starting, sometimes they kind of just stagnate. They might take a little dip, but they'll go down. Now, if he's playing good, decent, his values are going to go up a little bit. If he's playing great, they're going to skyrocket. I mean, usually even if the player's playing decent, people get real high on these guys. Especially if the team's winning. If the team's winning, and the quarterback has a winning record, sometimes regardless of how he's playing, if the team just has a winning record, and maybe he's not even playing great, but that if the team's 3-0, people get excited about the quarterback. So values are going to go up there. And I know I'm telling a lot of you guys something you already know, but this is more for people, that are newer to it, that don't know. Maybe I'll put that in text in the beginning, because I don't want to waste nobody's time or annoy anybody with this video. But I just want to make a card video. I haven't really been able to open cards that much lately. So now, obviously, as the season goes on, the next point that these values are going to go way up on these cards is if these guys make it to the playoffs in their rookie season, that's always a big boost in value on their cards. So if you're in these guys already, even in their cards with the college jerseys, you got the autographs. I mean, the value's going way up. At this point, the pro jersey stuff is, you're either going to have to get lucky for buying boxes, or you're going to have to buy singles. And yeah, if the player's doing great at that point, yes, it's going to be expensive. But you can, when you're in these cards already, when you got them early on, these players, then you still might want the pro jerseys. You do, even I do. but the chase doesn't. You don't feel that. You don't feel like that chase, that drive to chase these cards as much. Now that's kind of like, I'll be honest with you guys, for these guys' values, that's kind of like the finish line. As long as they play even decent and make it to the playoffs, they won the race. And your cards, at least until the next season, they're gonna hold pretty strong. They're gonna be desirable. People are gonna want those cards, and maybe some of those other guys, maybe people will still see some potential in some of those other guys that didn't even make it all the way like that, but maybe they still showed promise. But this is just a way to collect quarterbacks or guys you're into. You could do this with running backs, whoever. I've been watching a lot of running backs now too. Receivers, whatever position you like, you can do implement the same strategy with. Now, yeah, some of it you can get into it way cheaper, like running backs. But the thing with running backs is, it's like the top guys. The values are huge. They're expensive, and then everybody else, the values ain't that expensive. But their cards never seem like they're just like those other player positions. The cards never just seem like they're just so out of reach because the price is so high. It's late right now. It's like 1 a.m. So I've been thinking about making this video today, and I'll tell you guys right now, I don't follow a script. I didn't write out bullet points. I don't anything to keep me on track. I probably should do that. I could probably make the video a little better, but I just wing it, I'm just shooting from the hip. I'm just talking to you guys. I'm trying to be real as I can be. Early on when I started on here, I was trying to be different. I was watching videos, but I realized I'm going to do this myself, be myself. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. If you enjoy the videos, you enjoy the videos. For all the 10 people that have been watching and sticking with me this far, I appreciate you guys greatly. But there's a couple guys that really, man, for years and years, they've been sticking with me and showing me support, and I like their channels. So a couple of them I definitely got to shout out. And I apologize, if that's why I don't really like doing the shout outs, because people feel bad if you leave them out. So this, first and foremost right now, this is a shout out to all the supporters. I appreciate all you guys, shout out in the comments and I'll respond to you there. But one I definitely have to mention is Cloudsy420, UFC guy, UFC cards. I started doing a lot of UFC cards, but really cool dude. Appreciate him. His channel's really good stuff over there. You should check his channel out. And then, Game Day Legends, I gotta shout him out too. He does it all: football, baseball. He mixes it up. I watch all the football videos that he does, and he's also a real supportive dude. Check his channel out. Just seems like such a wonderful, nice guy. So I just had to show some appreciation here. I don't do that a lot. Maybe to some of newer guys and stuff into collecting. This strategy might be something you can implement collecting singles, especially in a time when trading cards and sports cards are so priced so high. I mean, you can take $60 and get a Cam Ward autograph. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be the next Jaden Daniels, but you never know. I'm not saying any of these guys are going to be the next Tom Brady, but, I mean, maybe the next Elway. It's not impossible. So you could be into a player for $60, or you could be into, a Curtis Rourke for $8, and this guy could end up being, somebody big down the road. And what did you spend? The price of a blaster, the price of a mega, maybe the price of just a single pack or less. Or, you could have went to the store, you could have bought a mega box for $65, $70 after tax, and got absolutely nothing. So this is a way to have fun. It gets you interested. It gets you invested in these players. So you enjoy it more. And honestly, I'm a Buffalo Bills fan first and foremost. But because of this, I started following different players and quarterbacks. So yes, I mean, I'm fans of guys on other teams and stuff. Obviously, when it comes down to head-to-head against the Bills, though, I don't want any of these guys to win unless they're with Buffalo. But yeah, it just gets you. It's fun, I guess. It's fun. So as long as you're having fun, if you're not breaking the bank, if you're trying to do this in a better way, maybe my strategy can help you out a little bit. Until the next time, Doc Holliday, I'm out.